The Naoha MK3 Assault Armored Personnel Carrier. Mechanical and Service Information. The Naoha MK3 Assault APC first entered modern service with the Void Sakura Empire in the year 3530 VT at the raid on Kika Plateau on the landmass of Terra Stratos. It has inherited a long legacy from the previous Naoha iterations, the Zrika A3 Zaptra and the Momura 22B infantry fighting vehicle, with the Mark III itself having become a platform for multiple spin-off models and variants. These variants include the Naoha Kendo KND01A Mark III AV anti-vehicle platform, the Naoha Champion CM83 Mark I variable munitions assault platform, the Naoha Buster BT7274 Mark III assault gun, the Naoha Dreamer SW-3 Mark IV self-propelled anti-aircraft system, the Naoha MK2G Mole underground assault carrier, the ON33A Oni medical transport, and all exclusively developed Noble House Defense Force variants. Produced at a cost of roughly 12,230 pink petal coins for its original production model, the Naoha is capable of crewing 3 with a commander, gunner, and driver, whilst carrying up to 16 dismountable soldiers, though this has been upgraded to roughly 24 in later APC models. Initially armed with a 30mm IF-4 cryo-core automatic cannon, the Mark III's current-day standard model is equipped with a 65mm HO 31-0 pyrocore cannon, propelled by 6 ATR-8 all-terrain exploration wheels and a K3080 Kai transmission system, powered by a Mark 5.5 medium Manicore engine. The Naoha Mark III Assault Armored Personnel Carrier is capable of 4-wheel and 6-wheel drive, and can reach a maximum speed of 179 km per hour, or 111 miles per hour. Whilst most commonly lost in battle due to damage to their wheels or engines, which severely hampers the vital speed needed for their common combat tactics conducted by Naoha crews, most Naohas can serve for a good while, such as the K1TTRO-BA, who served for 8 years before being destroyed beyond recovery. Kirigatani's magnum opus, development and design. The pet project of vehicle designer Ito Kirigatani, which began its development as a retrofitted Momura 22B infantry fighting vehicle, which had its transmissions replaced with the model found on the Zrika A3 Zaptra, and a wooden mock-up of what would later become the Naoha Mark III's turret fitted in place of the original one, found on a normal Momura. Early testing conducted by Kirigatani found the improvements to be useful, but far from enough to really replace the original Momuras in production. And thus, he chose to instead design the new vehicle from the ground up, as a continuation of the famed Naoha line of APCs, with the first development prototype being readied by the end of 3527 VT. Comparatively to the previous concepts, the new prototype had a far higher performance at full load plus dismounts, but there were several mechanical problems that needed to be ironed out before service could really begin. The issues found mostly originated from the main gun, transmission, and engine components that were not perfectly situated together, but, with the turn of the decade approaching, the decision was made to bring in Nagashima and Ginsen to help expedite the process, and create a few specialized variants to help encourage a wider scope of use. All 3 designers went about first ensuring an improved hull design that they would all be basing their variants off of, with the majority of the detailing done by the end of 2 months, and design work on the specialized variants beginning quickly thereafter. Kirigatani's design was to become the standard production model, Nagashima's a support platform, and Ginsen a self-propelled anti-aircraft system. All of them were to be delivered on the exact same deadline in 3529 VT. Kirigatani's variant retained the original turret design and made use of an improved 30mm IF-4 cryocore automatic cannon, which was designed to act as an overall improvement over the older 35mm HO 440 despite the slightly lower caliber. Unlike the other two initial variants, the prototype that would become the standard model was the only one to feature dismounts, as the other two had to drop them to fit more ammunition and anti-aircraft computers within the allotted space. Albeit, it was not the only one to feature a cryocore weapon, as the design made by Ginsen made use of them as well in the form of the Jinsen 15 twin revolver cannon system. Albeit the Jinsen model lacked the same armor-penetrating capabilities as the larger IF-4 did, it did, however, far and away beat the original model in accuracy, as the computer systems in it were designed for faster air targets and was capable of effectively handling both aiming the guns and firing, alongside the guidance of surface-to-air missiles without any loss in performance, which the other two variants could only dream of matching, at least in their initial configurations. The most drastically different design came from Nagashima, who dumped the turret entirely in favor of an open-topped assault gun, which was powered by pyrocores, and was a brand new design made for this project by the company. Nagashima's variant did, however, suffer some survivability issues compared to the more enclosed variants, and whilst extra crew protection was added to it, it would never compare to a fully enclosed cabin, something which on the later mobile field gun models made by Nagashima featured. All of the designs were more than ready by the time of the deadline though, and over the last months of 3529 VT, they were extensively tested and improved, with all three being greenlit for service at the turn of the year. A road of pure and utter glory, service crew reception, and early adjustments. Upon the introduction of the Naoha MK3 and its two variants, they were quickly paired with the Rifa MKXL7 tank and thrown into the ever-growing hellhole that is Terra Stratos. Despite the harsh fighting grounds, the two vehicles combined were able to exceed their expected performance and greatly helped in making strides to push the Exiles Republic back, becoming popular enough that older vehicles such as the Zrika and Momura were retracted from service to open up resources and funding allocations for the new pairing. Production, as a result of this shift, also ramped up rapidly, and by 3535 VT, the Naoha MK3 and variants had reached production levels beyond even the Momura's 22B's peak, meaning that for every lost or damaged Naoha, there was already 3 more ready to be crewed and sent out to the field, while ones in need of repair were restored to working order. Before joining the other vehicles in battle, of course. The more specialized models rarely had such a concept applied to them, given the lower production numbers and almost always much higher production costs compared to the standard model of the type. Thus, preventing losses was given an increased priority for these specific variants. Development of new variants was also being done, with the first to be introduced after the original set being the MK2G Mole underground assault carrier, one of the few groundbreaking military vehicles intended for use in cave environments for long durations of time. While this variant lost a lot of speed found in the Naoha MK3 due to the additional weight, both from the drill and additional armor, it did not lose its troop carrying capacity like most of the specialized variants did. Comparatively, a majority of the other later variants, however, were much less drastic than the MK2G, most of them using one of the original variants as a basis to speed up development and ease initial production costs. This cycle of developing new variants went on for hundreds of years, finally culminating into the most modern variants of the Naoha MK3, more often referred to as MK3 Kai. Compared to the older variants, the Kai model made use of 6 cheaper wheels compared to the original 4, upgraded the engine and transmission system by a significant margin, and increased the internal room of the vehicle enough to allow up to, at best, 24 dismounts. Unlike the older versions, however, the original type of this model was developed by only one party alone, rather than by multiple, but would quickly receive similarly improved versions of the base variant types. Service of both types is still ongoing, while the new type has its production speeds catch up and the stocks of the older type are still massive compared to basically every other vehicle in the Imperial arsenal. Pop culture appearances and chibi war toys. While many vehicles of the Imperial arsenal have reached plentiful amounts of popularity, none of them have reached a popularity so great that an entire television show was spawned out of them, something which the Naoha MK3 would reach first, and was only followed up by the various vehicles after it in order to add further characters to the show's casting. Mind you, the Naoha MK3 already had a well-built-up line of various figures and plushies by this point, so the show resulted in a myriad of similar toys, made after the characters' designs instead of the actual ones. The show itself goes by the name Now Now to Nakami Tachi, Now Now and Friends, and first aired in 3662 BT across several standard television channels, in addition to its own dedicated channel that receives new episodes earlier than the rest, and has maintained the same monthly viewing schedule ever since. Given the show's nature towards improving cooperation and overall good behavior traits and skills, there are few video games based on it, when compared to the hundreds that use the actual vehicle design. But the overall views on these games tend to lead towards the positive side of things, especially newer ones that feature newer characters whom were also being added to the main show around the same time. Overall, it is believed that Now Now and Friends is doing many things to help improve demi-human relations between one another, and it is hoped that by teaching our children these lessons, the war may one day come to a peaceful end.